In the fall of 1910, a senator named Nelson Aldrich, a representative of JP Morgan, and a handful of other people of political and financial influence hopped on a train and went on a secret trip to Jekyll Island in Georgia. What's shady about this meeting is that they told their families that this was a duck hunting trip. The public had no idea this was happening. And while they were at the club for those 10 days, they only referred to each other by their first names. The purpose of this very secret meeting was to lay the groundwork for what would become the Federal Reserve, or the Central Bank of the United States. Now, mind you, for decades, many politicians had made proposals to create a central bank for the US, and for some reason, all of them would never go through. I wonder why. This didn't just happen out of nowhere. Something happened that pushed JP Morgan and Nelson Aldrich to finally ensure that a central bank gets established. And what happened was the Panic of 1907. 3 years before this meeting, a bunch of rich people bet on copper stocks, and they bet wrong and the stocks crashed. So people started to panic. They thought the banks were going to fail, or that they wouldn't have enough reserves for their deposits. So they started going to all their banks trying to withdraw, and this caused bank runs. Bank runs can bring the banking system to its knees, and it can cause banks to fail. And this created a whole domino effect, which included a huge recession. So with all that in mind, these people argued that the US needed a centralized bank to consolidate the money policy and manage the country's money so that it could step in to prevent things like this to happen. That was their whole argument for why the US needed a central bank for so long. However, this is the very last thing the people at the time would have wanted. Why would you experience a panic that was caused by a few wealthy people and Wall Street, and then think that the solution would be to relinquish all of the decentralized financial power and give it up to that same group, more or less? What do I know? Anyways, fast forward, the Federal Reserve gets established. I don't know why it's called the Federal Reserve when it's a private bank, but that's a story for another time. Fast forward a little bit more to 1971, where Richard Nixon detethers the US dollar from gold and causes inflation to go up, and enables the Federal Reserve that was established decades earlier to print more money, print, and that totally has no repercussions for now or the future. And that's the video. Have a nice day.